Hey, it's Chris Boling.
Chris Byer.
Brad Johnson here.
Brad, we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics. I think we've talked about at least 5 times on Bottom Line Thursday, and that's our favorite drug that shows up on every high cost claims report, GLP-1s.
You want to talk for our
You
sixth
have
time
the,
about it?
let's
I
talk
think
about it.
so. It's
I,
I
timely.
think we should.
I was shocked when I saw in your newsletter that there could be the potential of shutting down the compound pharmacies, compounding the Ozempics, the Wegovys of the world. And now you're going to have to go back to the brand name and spend $1,600 a month versus $300 a month.
Yeah.
So tell us
So you
about this.
nailed it. You nailed it. So the FDA apparently during times of shortage of a drug that the FDA deems as beneficial for society, I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but they at the time when semaglutide came out, it's one of the key ingredients in all these blockbuster drugs that
Yep.
causes you to eat less and all that good stuff. They're saying that the shortage is now over. So the FDA announced this. And so there's a window of time, I want to say like 60 to 90 days after they announced that all these compounders like Hims and Hers, not to pick on them, but they were,
Yeah.
some real
I
big
mean, they
ones out
advertised during
there.
the Super Bowl. I mean, they went huge during the
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
they did all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got
So,
Noon, you got Roe, you got, I mean, all of them are doing it, right? That's,
yeah, yep. And it looks like that has to stop soon. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of lawsuits going both sides to probably argue, is the shortage truly over? But yeah, so we will see. So what I have seen though, I don't think this should impact people that get it sent internationally, but at least in the U.S., your U.S. compounders, it at least puts a lot of legal pressure on them. If they do decide to continue, I'm sure they're going to get some real nasty letters from the manufacturers that own the patents.
Right.
So yeah, it'll change the market. That's just for sure.
yeah, we were discussing before we got on recording is, a lot of our self-funded health plans have carved out specifically weight loss drugs. And that's how they were telling their employees how to access them because they were, a fraction of the cost. So it does concern me if this does go through, how much pressure is that going to put back on our employers to now add these drugs back into the health plan?
Yeah.
So
It'll be
that's a
interesting to see.
concern. It is.
Yeah.
That was kind of the compromise is, hey, we'll give you access to these other programs, and yes, maybe we might help pay for them because they were, a fraction of the cost. But
Yeah.
interesting. I did not realize. I guess I wasn't smart enough to realize how they were getting around the law when we knew that the patent was still out there on these drugs. I just thought, wow, I can't believe these compound pharmacies can just start cranking out a drug that still has its patent. I guess that explains why.
We hadn't talked about the shortage in quite some time. I mean, that started a couple of years ago when everyone was taking it for the sake of weight loss, Ozempic specifically. That was the national trend that I don't think we thought through that in quite some time.
Wasn't it last year that one of our PBMs said that the politicians, because we all know that big pharma has the best lobbyists, uh, passed a law that you couldn't get it sent from Canada into the United States. I thought there was a period of time that we also couldn't get them sent in, and maybe that created the shortage, which then
Yeah.
allowed this to happen. Maybe it backfired. I would love it if it backfired on the lobbyists that you actually lost hundreds of billions of dollars because you prevented this from coming in from Canada. That would make me really happy.
Interesting. Yeah. And,
That is, yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
and Bulling, your point, no, don't feel bad. I didn't really know this existed either until a buddy of mine in the pharmaceutical space mentioned it. And I guess a lot of the shortage had to do with the fact that the injectors, because
Yes.
you have to inject the drug, they couldn't make the injectors fast enough too. I don't know if that came into this whole shortage thing or
Hmm.
not, but they couldn't
Interesting.
keep up with it. So even if you had the
Huh.
medication, you couldn't deliver it and sell it. So
You'd have to,
yeah, we all learned something.
right. You'd have to go old school, right? You get your vial, you get your little belly button, or not belly button, but your little belly insulin needle, and jab it yourself.
And
You don't
ready to
have the
roll.
you don't have the cool clicker and push the button. You got to syringe and push it in there, people.
I bet your iPhone will do it here in a few years. It'll figure out a way to do that. So, and the health app. So,
Well,
yeah. So
I'll be
stay tuned.
fascinated. Fascinated.
Yes. One more topic.
Another
Yeah,
great
we'll have
topic.
to do number 7 here at some point.
I like it.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brad.
Thanks again,
All
Brad.
right,
We'll see
thanks,
you.
guys.
Take care.
Yep.